Here are the top 5 side hustles for single moms in 2024. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tramise. For those of you who don't know me, I am a former teen mom, now thriving single mom of one lovely teenage daughter. And these are my top 5 side hustles for mommies and daddies just like me. Now, these are not side hustles that I just Googled or found on ChatGPT. No, these are actually side hustles that I've actually done myself. And so that I know is going to bring you a few coins. Now, if you're like me and you love to travel and you need a little bit of help getting into the fun a little bit faster, or you just need some extra money to pay the bills, these side hustles will definitely bring home the bacon. All right, with that being said, let's get started. Disclaimer, is this going to make you a millionaire? Probably not. Maybe if you're lucky, but I doubt it. Now, these are definitely some tools or some jobs that can definitely help put some quick cash in your pocket, and it will definitely help you, get along. Because I know as a single parent, it's definitely, working with one income. Sometimes that can get a little rough, especially in the bank account department or the finance department. And these would definitely just help ease the burdens a little bit. And these are things that I think just about almost everyone or anyone can do. Okay, so number 1 is going to be one that everybody already knows about: Uber and Lyft, your rideshare side hustles. Now, on average, I typically made about $300 to $500 on the weekends, and it was for sure some easy money. All you have to do is drive around. If you have a car, all you have to do is drive around, pick people up, drop them off where they need to go. Pretty much that's it. Some of the pros that I would say: you get to set your own hours, you get to listen to your music or a podcast, you get to meet new cool people if you're a people person. And some people like to talk in the car, some people don't. It's definitely hit or miss with that, but most people, in my experience when I was doing Uber and Lyft, they were pretty cool and pretty, nice to talk to. Now, as far as which platform is better, honestly, I've tended to prefer Uber, although I do know some rideshare drivers do prefer Lyft just because they say the pay is better. I had a better result with Uber, however, and I was driving in DC, and I also drove for Uber and Lyft in Atlanta as well. But I definitely would say some of those rides could be upwards of $50. Some can be as low as like $50 per ride, I mean. And then some of them can be as low as like $4 or $5 to take someone around the corner. So it's really like up and down, but typically in general, on the weekends, you can look to maybe make about $300 to $500. Now, some of the cons with being with driving with Uber or Lyft, number 1 for me was the drunk people, especially working on the weekends. Baby, I got a story where a drunk person got in my car and his friends was like, "Can you please get him home?" So on and so forth. And this man literally threw up in my backseat where my daughter has to sit. And that was just like oh no. I did, however, get to charge him a cleaning fee, but it was just like the fact that I actually had to go get it cleaned and I had to stop driving because he threw up in the back of my car. It kind of messed up my money for that night. But I mean, again, in the end, you get to recoup some of that money if someone messes up your car with the cleaning fee that you would charge, that you would charge the passenger. Another con would be wear and tear on your car, having to rip and run and drive up and down the highway or around the corner, in your neighborhoods or whatever. That could sometimes cause a lot of wear and tear in your car, which if you're not making a lot of money doing Uber, it could be a definite con because it would be taken away from your overall profit. So you definitely got to make sure that you keep your car maintenance And then, of course, gas, because you're doing a lot of driving. You may drive someone as far as like 30, 40 miles from wherever their pickup location was. You can drive them about 20 or 30 miles away. Some people even further than that. So depending on how much gas is in your area, I would definitely look into that and maybe do a little bit of a math equation to see, okay, if I did X amount of rides on a full tank of gas, how much am I standing to make, or how much am I standing to profit from this? I would definitely say if you have something like an SUV or a truck, it could be a pro because you can fit more people in your car. You can maybe get bonuses for like Uber XL, but it also can be a con because if the people are going very far, then you would essentially be spending more gas money. But weigh the pros and cons for yourself. I would definitely say the gas and the wear and tear on my car was a con for me, which is kind of why I stopped, along with getting the drunk people. Like, I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, only one time where someone actually threw up in my car, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I'm over it. And that brings me to my number 2 side hustle, which is Instacart. All right. So with Instacart, on average, I would make about $500 on the weekends. But a pro is if I was off, say for like the holiday and I'm off for a week, or I had some vacation time that I wanted to use from my full-time job, but I was kind of at home, but not really, I could definitely pick up some extra days doing Instacart during the week on my off days. And I would make upwards of I could make up to about $1,000 in a week with Instacart. That's why I loved it. Now, I don't necessarily have these in any type of order, but this Instacart was definitely one of my top favorite side hustles to do. Reason being, one of the pros was I didn't have to make small talk with people. Like, I just go at my own pace. I can listen to music. I can talk on the phone to my friends if I wanted to while I was driving, or while I was in the grocery stores. Wasn't nobody checking for me for real. And I could listen to music as loud as I wanted to, any type of music that I wanted to listen to. It was just super easy. Like I said, I went on my own pace. I got to grocery shop, honey. Listen, I was a multitasker because I would grocery shop for myself and that person, especially on my last batch of the night. I would say, okay, what groceries do I need to get for at home? Okay. And then I would get those groceries, with my groceries, get their groceries, drop their grocery off, go home, and I would have food for later on, for the week. So it was kind of like, well, I'm already in the grocery store. Why not get somebody else's groceries, drop those off, and make a little extra money? You can do it in the evenings after work. Again, I mostly did it on the weekends. Saturdays and Sundays was always jumping. Okay, honey, you're almost guaranteed to make at least $200 on a Sunday because everybody after church, them church folks, they ordering their groceries in the church service. I bet you that's what they're doing, because by the time church get out, honey, all them groceries got to be delivered. Now, and then also during the holidays, like Super Bowl weekend or Christmas, everybody's ordering extra things, don't have time to run errands because they're trying to do multiple things at once. So Instacart, I'm not sure about any other grocery delivery service, but Instacart definitely is one of those ones that's up there. You can really make some good money on that. Now, some of the cons with doing Instacart or those grocery delivery services, again, still wear and tear on your vehicle. Unless you're living in like an urban city where you're able to have a moped or a bike. I don't know if you want to deliver on a bike, groceries on a bike, but yeah, like a moped or something, that probably wouldn't be so bad as far as the wear and tear on your car or gas. Now, it's not as much as Uber in my experience, because people are not ordering from grocery stores 20, 30, 40 miles away from their house, unless they live in a very rural area. Now, most people who are ordering groceries, most of the time they live about within the 5 to 10 mile radius of that particular grocery store that they're ordering from. So you can just go, and you don't have to drive around trying to look for someone who wants to order groceries. No, I used to just drive to the grocery store, park in front of the grocery store, and wait for an order to come in. 9 times out of 10, it's going to come in. Especially if you're in a good area. And you can easily pick your location. I will always drive to a specific area of where I wanted to shop or work in, and I would typically end up just staying in that area because they will only give you only give you batches typically that are in that area. So you would not like Uber where you'll be working in one county and next thing you know, you in the city or you all the way in Virginia. In DC, Maryland, Virginia. If you're from DMV, you know what I'm talking about. Like 1 minute you're in PG County, next minute you're in Richmond, Virginia. Well, not quite that far, but either way. But you know what I'm saying. Now, some of the cons with Instacart is, again, like I said, the wear and tear in the car. We already went over that. You do sometimes have to carry the heavy groceries upstairs. Like, I can't stand the people that order all these groceries and you live on the 5th floor and your apartment complex doesn't have no daggone elevators. Those people, they be mad. But with Instacart, they did start to charge a heavy fee to those type of customers. So you do get slightly compensated a little bit more if they order, like, say 2 or 3 cases of water and you have to carry those up the stairs. They will compensate you for that. So it was definitely good exercise. I know we're talking about the cons, but baby, listen, I was getting my exercise on, honey, because we was walking. We was getting our steps in. So that was a 2-for-1 special. But either way, it could be a con for somebody who doesn't want to do all of that walking. And again, walking up the steps with those heavy groceries. And another con, honestly, I think, is that all my cons? That's literally all my cons. Every now and then people wouldn't tip, but most people tipped on Instacart. On Instacart, most people tip. I haven't experienced the no tipping situation with Instacart. Most people are super friendly. Oh, if things are out of stock, that would definitely be a con. If the grocery store is just out of stock of whatever the whatever the customer may want, especially if they have multiple. Sometimes the customer can get a bit frustrated because the items are out of stock. Most people understand, like, dang, they don't have it anymore. But if they don't want the replacement, it will end up, say you started off with a $30 batch, like you would want to potentially make $30 from this batch. By the time you get done, if they don't want a replacement, refunding all of those things, that $30 batch could have easily turned into $15 because now the overall fee or the overall cost for the customer as far as the groceries is much less. So even though, say, it's a $30 batch as based on, say, a customer ordering, say, $150 worth of groceries. In America, that's easy to do. But say again, it went from $150, the total cost for their groceries is $150, went from there down to, say, $80. Now you're only going to stand to make possibly $15-20 off of that batch. Still not bad because, hey, you're making $18 to $15 or to $20 to $15 to $20 within 45 minutes. That's good. Every 30, 45 minutes you're making $15 to $20. That's a pretty daggone good side hustle. I'm telling you. That's a pretty good side hustle. Next side hustle is DoorDash. Again, still with the whole rideshare situation, right? I've done this too, baby. I done every rideshare app I feel like there is known to man at this point. But DoorDash was probably one of my least favorite side hustles that I've done, simply because you don't really get a big ROI or return on investment with that. I feel like if you're not in a good area where there's a lot of restaurants or restaurants possibly close early, then, you only can stand to make about maybe anywhere between, I've made as far as low as $50 on an entire weekend, upwards of $200 on an entire weekend. So it really, really depends. DoorDash can be very temperamental. Not to mention that people tend to not tip on DoorDash, and your cost or your pay per batch on DoorDash could be like $2 to $3 per batch, like 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, granted, it adds up. the bonus of that is if you get some of those back to back, and say you're doing a multi-delivery, they will allow you to go pick up one person's order and then pick up another person's order that's close by or in the area. That's easily, if say they're $5 a batch, right? That's $10 in maybe 20 minutes. So on a busy night, you can do really well. But baby, when it's slow. Okay. So, and sometimes people tend to order out more on the weekends than they do during the week. So during the week, it has its slow periods during the week. Maybe you might not make much during breakfast time during the week, but maybe say you'll make more around dinner time during the week, or if it's the weekend, okay. If it's the weekend, I'd say midday brunch. You'll definitely get it on and popping. So if you don't mind working the entire day, just to make $100, $200, then DoorDash may be for you. Now, some of those pros, again, I kind of mixed them in, but some of the pros are, again, you don't have to make small talk with people. You can listen to your music or podcast. Those to me are pros, because I love to read, but when I'm working, I've always worked 2 to 3 jobs as a single mom just to make ends meet, because I live in a very, very high, what do you call it? Not high income, but a high, like the high cost of living area. I grew up and lived in a very high cost of living area. So I've always had at least 2 or 3 side hustles going on. So, but I never had time to read my books. So what I would do was I would get my audiobooks and I would read them or listen to them in the car. So, with me being able to listen to my audiobooks or listen to music or listen to a podcast in the car while I'm working, it just was very relaxing for me, and it just satisfied both me, so that way I didn't feel so burnt out. And I was able to, do something that I love as well as make money at the same time. I already gave you some of those cons. Really, DoorDash, it's on the lower of the totem pole, but some people do it and do very well with it. You can have someone in your car with you, so it doesn't matter. Oh, that's another point on Instacart also. You can definitely have someone in the car with you also. My daughter would come with me all the time on Instacart. Uber, you can't do that. But Instacart, my daughter would do Instacart with me, and so that would just made our earnings even more. And I would pay her a little bit, like $20, $30 here on the weekends, made her a couple, sometimes 40 or 50, depending on how much I made. But it would help put a little extra cash in her pocket so she could do her little shopping. And then it would help us move much faster, because she would be getting the groceries from one area, and I would be getting the groceries from another area. Baby, we was working together, honey, and getting them things in and out done. But same thing with DoorDash. So she and I both would drive around together and just do the DoorDash deliveries there. Now, especially if it's an area, say I couldn't, like in DC, girl, you ain't finding no parking, not on the weekend. So I would just drive, and I would have her run inside and go pick it up. And then I would give her my phone, or I would give her my phone and I would take her phone. And so that way she could call me if there was a problem or if we needed to switch out. So she would go get it. I would stay in the car parked with my hazards on, and then she would meet me back outside, and we could just keep getting up, and I didn't have to drive around 100 times trying to find parking. So that's a tip. Okay. That's a little tip for you. What else? I think that's it for DoorDash. Again, it's a little bit lower on my preference list, but again, it could work for you. It could work for you. This next side hustle, super easy. And baby, that's babysitting or date night sitting. First of all, you can make anywhere between, let's say, $100 to $200 on a weekend. Now, for those moms who are single moms, but you work from home or you stay at home, or you're a stay-at-home mom, baby, go ahead and cash in on those weekday sits too, okay? Why not cash in on something that you're already doing, which is watching your kids? Hello, duh. And if you have school-age kids, helping other parents in the area by picking up their kids from school for them while they're at work. Number one, that's one way to build community. Number two, it's just very, it's a need. It's a strong need because sometimes these before and after cares, I know for before and after care for my daughter, I was paying like almost $200 a week for before and after care. So, and that's just for one child. Imagine if you have more than one. So, I definitely would say babysitting is a super easy side hustle that you can do. Now, you will have to pick other kids up from school, or if you live nearby a school, maybe you can walk up there and everyone knows to meet you at a certain location and you guys walk back together. You can maybe get one or two additional kids to bring, to help babysit during the week on that aftercare. That aftercare service is definitely going to be a big money maker for you. A big money maker for you, especially if you're already a work from home mom or if you're already a stay at home mom. You can definitely make some good money doing that after care, after school, or even before care. Say a mom needs to drop the kids off, a little early to you, and you can help get them to school, and you can charge them, say, $100 per child, or $100 per child a week, and there you go. That could almost become almost a full-time business. I wouldn't necessarily say a daycare provider because daycare providers do typically have to be licensed unless it's a family daycare. In certain states, family daycares don't have to be licensed, or you don't necessarily have to provide like thorough instructions. Some of them do. Now, in Maryland, you got to be certified. I think you do have to register or be licensed. And it also would help if you are able to get your like CPR and first aid. I would definitely recommend that for anyone who's watching children, especially as a health. I'm not a healthcare provider, but I'm in the healthcare field personally, specifically dealing with pediatric children. Definitely you want to get your CPR first aid for anything if you're going to be dealing with anybody's children. Now, but I don't really have many cons for this side hustle tip, just because it's super easy. Only con I have for this tip is that people kids be bad and you can't beat them. I mean, I don't know if you beating your kids, but people kids do be bad though. They be bad. You're gonna have to send them home. Maybe, and also parents be crazy and they be weird. So parents are really weird. I realized that when I'm working in pediatrics. Parents weird, I don't know what. They do some odd stuff. But that would be like the only con to me. I don't mind children or watching children. Actually, when I was younger, I definitely babysat all the time before I even had a kid myself. So I definitely would recommend that. Again, that's easy, anywhere between $100 to $400 a week if you can do it. And the last side hustle of this video is one that I actually still currently do. And that is becoming a braider. With a braider, you can make anywhere between $500 or $1,000 on a weekend or a week, just becoming a braider. Because number one, here are some of the pros. Number one, you can set your own price. That's number one. And braiders these days are charging astronomical amounts of money for them to braid your hair. I wouldn't charge like $300 or $400 to braid hair, and I definitely wouldn't pay $300 or $400 to get my hair braided, especially because I already know how to do it myself. But people are doing it, and sometimes, especially if you're going to be doing it full time, or if you want to take this side hustle seriously and grow it and scale it into a full time business, you definitely want to make sure that you're fairly compensated for your hours, because depending on the styles, some styles are definitely worth that $300 to $400, especially if it's taking you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours to do one person. But you can see multiple clients in a day, depending on your speed. You can work from home, so lowers the cost of overhead. You can, again, scale it to become a legit business. And not only that, but again, you can set your own price. So that's just a win-win for me in my book. And this is one of the skills that I decided to just take with me. Another major pro that I love is that I can literally braid hair anywhere in the world. So that's a skill that doesn't require me to be in any specific location, because as long as there's women that have hair anywhere in the globe, especially ones with melanated skin, baby, somebody always going to need their hair to get done. And not everybody knows how to do their own hair. So you can capitalize off of that and make that a very lucrative side hustle. Now, some of the cons for with the side hustle, with the side hustle of a braider is that in some states they won't allow you to braid hair without a license. So you would definitely want to make sure you're checking your local cosmetology board. You can look it up online. You just want to go to the Board of Cosmetology on Google for your state and look up the laws in your state to see what you're allowed to do. Another con would be that you do end up standing up or on your feet for long hours. So it can be very harsh or hard on your body over time. So that's definitely something you would need to be aware of. And then another con, or my last con that would be a con for me, is like when you're first starting out, especially if you're really relying or need that consistent income. When you're first starting out, your clientele is not going to be, 4 or 5 clients waiting in line to get their hair braided, so it's going to take some time to build that clientele. Now, you can definitely, start braiding in a salon just to get your exposure. The only con with if you go with braiding in a salon, they may charge you booth rent and or take a commission out of every client that you do. But that is a good starting point if you don't have any way of getting clientele. But baby, with this new day and age, with social media and word of mouth, maybe you can braid a couple people's hair for free, or some of your friends that you know, or girlfriends that you have, or children that you have, say, hey, I'm braiding hair now. I definitely would like to offer you this service. If you just refer someone to me, I can give you a discount off for your hair braiding for each referral that you provide me, or something like that. You never know. Word of mouth, and people can see your work. But again, set your prices at prices that you know that are reasonable. And when I say reasonable, I mean like your work has to match your price. Like, don't be charging people $300 or $400 for braids when number one, you've never actually braided someone else's hair before. Number two, you never actually did that particular style that they're asking for before, or your braids are just not worth $300 or $400. Like, all your parts are crooked. Your braids is just twisted up and they're not, neat. But that's something that you can grow on your experience. The more exposure, the more braids that you do for other people, or the more exposure that you get, the more clients that you get, the better your skill will get. So that's a muscle that you have to flex. Another con for me with braiding is, again, not only you standing up, but your ankles tend to swell, your fingers tend to swell. You can get varicose veins in your legs and stuff if you're not wearing compression stockings or socks and stuff, or just don't have not wearing the proper garments, or you know what I'm saying, while you're braiding. It can really, again, just be really harsh on your body. But this is something that I still do today, and you can definitely make good money doing this. And again, you can take this and make this and scale this into a full-time career if that's what you want to do. I definitely would recommend my mom, who started out as a single mom also. She was a cosmetologist and she did very well for herself. She was able to buy her first house on her own, essentially, just from doing hair. So that is definitely a single mom's go-to, a single mom side hustle / career go-to. Now, I would definitely say, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to have more side hustles, or I have so many more side hustles that I've actually done, baby, because I was trying to do any and everything to make ends meet as a single mom, especially as a teen mom, before my actual career actually started kicking off. And even still to this day, I still work a side job. Like, I've never not had less than 2 jobs. Only one time in life, and I would never do that again. Because baby, these days and age, you have to have multiple incomes, because you can't just rely on one job, especially if you're the sole provider. So you have to have money coming from this place, that place, all over, okay? So with that being said, that concludes this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I have so much more ideas for you, so many more side hustles that I've done that I can definitely offer you. If you'd like me to shoot another video with more side hustle ideas, definitely please leave me a comment down below, and I can definitely pump one other one out, because baby, I got a list full of jobs that you can do. Now, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all next time.
When it pop off, it's like, oh my, all good all day, but the night we be going so hard on the flip side. So tell me we'll be on a day, babe. I could keep that same energy.